Awesome. Okay, thanks. Cool. All right, so we're recording. So this is our second time chatting, isn't it, Chris? And we connected through Donate Code, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, that is right. Donate Code, yes.
So since we've last chatted, yeah, I don't think I've talked any more to. I think we're still in the same sort of situation where I've connected with a small handful of people from Social Coder who are have varying experience, but I think none of them as experienced as yourself. But some lovely people and possibly some useful sort of experience. You know, some of them have built apps before and worked on web platforms and some quite advanced things in there. So yeah, I think they are happy to help if they are useful, if they feel valued, and they can contribute something that
Great.
That helps us. So I think I would really appreciate some of your contribution on that, like maybe meeting up with them however feels good for you, and just kind of scoping out their experience and just being like, is it better to include them or to work solo, or yeah, I mean, however you feel that would be your favourite way to sort of move forward if you would like to.
Okay.
Let me see. Did you have any sort of specific questions you wanted to kind of kick off with straight away?
I have some notes and just a few items I've been thinking about. So yeah. It feels like the Dignity platform is designed to help others and help us to look outward and not inward, and do good for others, for the community. So I get that. For causes, can anyone add a cause, or is there a vetting process? In other words, you probably don't want somebody to have a cause out there about child pornography or things like that.
Yeah. Mind if I screen share, because I just so happen to have in front of my face. Oh, hello. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing the brainstorm?
Yeah, I can see.
I've got two screens, so I'm not sure which one you're looking at, but hopefully you're looking at the one I'm moving around, which is this post-it note thing. So I think I see the, already a bit.
I see the one on superuser.com.
Oh, okay.
The browser window on superuser.com.
No, yeah. Oh, well, maybe this works. Yeah, I didn't think it would work on this screen because
there I see.
Yeah, that's working. Okay, cool. This is a 4K monitor, so I wasn't sure if it would work. Okay, great.
Okay.
So this is an exploration, a group exploration between the Dignity team on what would be the most ideal causes to roll out to. That doesn't exactly answer your question, because it doesn't sort of say which causes we would not fundraise for. But yeah, so we're just sort of beginning this exploration down here. I've kind of so there's an issue around our charitable status, if we're going to be legally registered as a charity as well as a CIO. Joe is kind of leading on this. We started off as a CIC and then realized CIO might be a better match. But anyway, so here's kind of things we think we'd definitely fundraise for, and then over here, definitely not. But we kind of obviously need some sort of ISIS. So we need some kind of system to, kind of say why we would or wouldn't. I think the thing is, yeah, I mean, there's for me, there's one, it's not a perfect solution, but I feel like it's kind of part of the solution, is that, people obviously have to be passionate enough about this cause to, give their time for free or for very little money to fundraise for it. So I think if it's something that hasn't managed to inspire people, that it's going to have a positive impact in the world somehow, who's going to meet local people and help them out, gifting their time and essentially volunteering or working for a subsidized rate, to raise money for that thing. I know that's not a perfect solution because there'll still be people who are passionate about hate groups and dubious causes. So yeah, I think it needs to go in tandem with something else. But yeah, there is some complexity there, I think.
So
yeah. Go on.
No, I was just sorry for the delay. It's my internet connection is not wonderful.
No,
but so how are you going to keep those bad things off, those bad causes off of the platform? Because I mean, and it may not be a big issue. Maybe, I mean, there's a couple of options. You can have people, the community, the Dignity platform community, self-police. So you could have like a report this cause or report this issue, things like that, or somebody or else to vet those. I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Vetting causes.
Yeah, and so I think yeah, because we want to kind of lead by example by being a really interactive, participative organization. Through that feature, I think we chatted about a little bit called Supporter Voice, where we don't want to take a percentage of the money that we're helping fundraise for charities and community projects, but what we do ask back from them is for them to spend some time reading and responding to at least the most popular ideas that are coming from their supporter community who are using Dignity platform to meet each other, help each other and fundraise for those causes. We want those causes to log into the platform and go, hello, thanks for all the money you've raised for us, dear supporters. We see all of your different ideas around how we can be more impactful, more inspiring and effective, and ultimately more tempting for you to fundraise for. This is why this is the problems that we have with this idea and that idea. We really like that idea and we're exploring it at the moment. We tried this one and here's the complexity around those ones. So there's a kind of conversation there at least, but hopefully some of those ideas will be implemented and will be the same. So if we hear from our support community, that it's really popular, that there should be some more rigid sort of framework that makes it very clear and black and white, like these kind of causes are eligible to fundraise via Dignity. These are definitely not. Then maybe we'll do that. I think I don't feel like we've explored it enough collectively yet for me to confidently speak on behalf of all of us. But if I talk just from myself, what feels most right to me so far is that we are just very human about this, by which I mean how you as an individual human would be with other individual humans. So I'm sure that you probably don't have black and white rules, written down on a piece of paper saying who you would and would not be friends with. I'm sure you have some ideas around who you most want to be friends with. And I'm sure I could meet a load of your friends, and if I really wanted to, I bet I could find some kind of common patterns between them. And they like being outdoors, they like sports, they're friendly, generous, kind people. They're fun to be around and light-hearted. There's things that I'm sure you look for in friends, and you actively attract those. You go to places where those people might be, and I think it's just the same with Dignity platform. I think every minute we spend talking about rules and protocols we could create for binary black and white rules to kind of write off causes. We could be just focusing more energy on being in the kind of places where the sort of causes we most want to work with are meeting and operating, and we could be making relationships there. So yeah, I guess that's what it is. And I think one thing we definitely can do straight away is say we're an early stage project, and actually we're trying to do our best to be really authentic and human, and we will be fallible and we will make mistakes. And we're trying to still work out our opinions on some things. We're not like Donald Trump, you know, we don't have a black and white answer for everything. And we don't actually feel comfortable saying we have no doubt about anything. We've got loads of doubt and we're exploring heaps of different things right now. Some things we're a lot more sure about than others. But I think actually embracing not knowing sometimes makes a lot of sense, and it opens doors to keep learning about things and growing. And for me, that's really inspiring.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from.
Mm.
And the reason I'm raising these questions is to get an idea of where you are, how mature the project is. Are you thinking that? So I mean, you know, you certainly, you mentioned you could look at my friends and see a pattern, and that certainly probably is true.
Mm.
But I think, you know, behind that there's going to be principles, right? And so
Sure.
if you don't set up some kind of, hey, just we're not going to tolerate hurting children, or you know, whatever the rules are. I mean, I don't know that. I feel like it's very easy to have this wonderful view of people that they'll always do the right thing, but I find at 51 years old, you begin to understand that they don't. You know what I mean? Not that people are bad. I'm not saying anything like that, but I'm just trying to see how you're going to protect Dignity, the platform, and how you're going to deal with those situations. So that's the reasons I'm raising this.
And I'm a very
big
big, I mean,
so in addition to, like, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's not just about me, but I guess that's what I feel most comfortable and able to sort of talk about, is at least where I stand with it and what I would sort of bring to the table in the conversation with the rest of the team. Is that I'm a big picture thinker, and so I think if there is an organisation like, let's say, the English Defence League, which might be very sort of anti-Muslim, very anti-immigration. Maybe they're not, you know, they're not ISIS, but they might be quite aggressive, quite discriminatory, anti-immigration, sort of things like this, you know. At the very least, sort of quite judgmental, they might stereotype. So that's maybe the more sort of grey area that some people would argue for. Hey, we need some money for events and marketing and stuff. Why can't we use Dignity? So I guess it does feel quite brave. It feels quite radical, and for me, quite exciting and daring, and a bit scary, but ultimately more authentic, to be like, look, we're bringing Dignity platform into the world because, you know, not to get minted, but because we believe it will create some social value for the world. And we really don't want to shut doors when we feel like there may be an opportunity to form relationships and bridge understanding and respect, because every time we shut a door, we sever a potential connection. You know, like if I can form some kind of friendship, maybe I don't let them really close into my life, but if I can form some sort of close acquaintance with somebody with whom I don't actually agree with on everything, we've had a very different background and upbringing and different view of the world. Okay, they don't hurt children maybe, like intentionally, but they're more of that probably more realistic kind of grey area where I don't believe in their ideals, but you know, is this really a platform that's only about supporting causes that Luke Flegg believes in, or the core team of Dignity platform believes in? I think, for example, through Support a Voice, there's an opportunity for not just the supporters of that cause, but for everyone on Dignity platform to propose ideas. Like, I think you guys should not discriminate so much against all kinds of Muslims. Maybe, you know, like, look more at integration and these aspects of this sort of complex, controversial, emotionally charged social situation, and you know, come at it from a different angle. And suddenly, you know, you've potentially created a, hopefully maybe quite mind-opening, respectful communication sort of space there, where I think if you kind of cut off from them, a project that could be quite a positive influence, like Dignity Platform, is no longer in their life. So it's easier for them. If you cut off every possible good, helpful opportunity or relationship from a person or group of people who are kind of going off the rails and becoming a bit extremist, you just disassociate from them. I think that's only going to make them more extreme, because they're just going to, the only people who are going to hang around with them are equally extreme people.
I see what you're saying. So clearly you're an idealist, and that's wonderful. So I get that. How do you handle situations where the doer doesn't perform adequately? Or let's say I hire a doer to come and build a doghouse for me, and he unintentionally burns my house down, and now I want to sue Dignity Platform.
So I think bunch of things come to mind. These are just sort of early stage ideas, and again, I want to sort of put a disclaimer on this that we've got more sort of exploration to do here. I think having some disclaimers on the website, like to an extent, you are taking a risk. You're choosing to take a risk by using this platform. I choose to take a risk when I hitchhike, when I use couchsurfing.org. For me, I'm very clear that I'm smart enough to know how to reduce those risks, and what I get back massively outshadows the risk I feel like I'm taking. Secondly, I think community ratings, like on Couchsurfing, for example, I think really, really help. You're not going to have a community like the size of Couchsurfing with, I don't know how many tens of millions of people are actively using that platform, but I know there's 6,000 or 7,000 active hosts in Brighton right now who are happy to have you sleep in their house. And I know an incredibly tiny minority of experiences on there are bad. And, you can look on my profile and see that I've hosted people about 40 times and been hosted about 5 or 10 times. And every single time, a review has been left for the other, almost every single time, in both directions. 95% of the time there's a review there, and people do leave negative reviews, if they need to, because they trust that it's essential for that kind of platform. And some people, who are a bit more risk averse, which is totally understandable to me, they don't always want to have someone stay with them if they don't have any community ratings yet. They don't have any community reviews. So that's where it can help. If you've got a friend who's using the platform, they can write you a review and say, I know this person, I've been using Dignity for ages, look at my reviews here, and I can vouch for this person. We've known each other for yonks, we went to school together. So I think these are a couple of ways of doing it. I think also insurance is possibly an additional kind of safeguard on there, or risk mitigation possibly. So I really like these things being optional. Like I can, sometimes when I'm hiring equipment for filmmaking, I can choose whether or not to add insurance on there, and I think that's nice. So, if it's the first time you're using the platform and you're having someone do some plumbing work or something at your house, you can pay an extra, kind of £10 or whatever, and that just activates the insurance package that we've probably got a deal on, because we're getting them loads of insurance, so they can give us a cheaper rate that we sort of pass on to our users of Dignity.
So you've thought about that, and you're going to manage that then on the back end. Okay.
Yeah, if we can. I think those are, yeah. I mean, I'd love to hear sort of your ideas as well on any of those things, or other thoughts you have on that too.
Well, yeah, I don't see that your idea is bad at all. I think that's fine. I heard you mention a concept of ratings too, or reviews. So I didn't know if you were going to include that. That would play into design if you're going to be able to allow hirers to rate the doers, and maybe vice versa. I don't know. But so then you could chart trending and popularity, which are two different concepts, but in the beginning there might not be a lot of competition for a skill, and location will be a deciding factor. But
Yeah.
just wondered if you thought about that. So I mean, I've kind of modeled out the design initially in my head and a little bit on paper, and it's not extremely complex. I mean, it's something that could be built pretty simply and relatively quickly, I would assume. But
Awesome. Yeah, you have something visual or some kind that I can have a look at?
I don't really have anything, but I actually pasted into the meeting all my notes. I don't know if you got those or not,
Okay,
but I can send them to you.
Yeah,
Sorry?
is that in a Google Doc?
It would be in the calendar probably, but I can send you my notes. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
So I typically, over the past 10 years, I've mostly focused on object-oriented design, and Ruby's been my language of choice. But so I you know, as soon as I talked to you, I started thinking about, okay, how do I model that? And so you have a doer, you have a hirer, and they have first name, last name, or whatever information you're going to collect, and you're going to have a project, right? There will be a cause. There will be skills, right? Experience levels. There'll be doer skills, right? So a join table basically between doers and skills. So you'll have the site with hopefully hundreds and hundreds of doers and hirers that will go out and say, you know, I mean, I don't know how you're wanting to position it. Do you want hirers to come and then look for doers, or do you want this to just be a huge platform of doers and hirers come and think? You know, I could use someone to help me garden, things like that. You there? I think I lost you.
Hello?
Yeah, I lost you for a second.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out what on earth has just happened. I disappeared somehow. Oh, yeah, there was a second one of me, but I've disappeared now. You can hear me all right now?
I can hear you okay. Yes.
Cool. So I was just listening to you saying about, you were talking about the design and layout sort of ideas you had mapped out a little.
Yeah. So I was saying when I first talked to you, when I talk to anyone about work or, you know, a project, my mind just starts to break it down into models and how to build it. So so you have doers and hirers, and you have the doers have skills, and there's causes, and so we're going to mesh all those together. And so I have a kind of a good grasp, I think, on how to model it. But that's why I asked the questions earlier in our meeting about things like, are there going to be ratings? And are we going to have some kind of rule-based or principle-based, you know, vetting or things like that, because it plays into design. So the other thing that I thought would be really interesting would be to maybe possibly award doers and hirers a certificate after they give a certain amount, right? So it could look good on someone's resume, and if someone wanted to post this certificate behind the cash register, you know, that we Superman, we give, you know, or whatever the certificate says, we gave this much to Red Cross or whatever it is, and it can be a marketing tool for you as well. But I don't know. I thought about that.
Yeah, really interesting, I think. Yeah. I'm trying to remember if I mentioned the ambassador role to you, because we've only spoken once, but I know we touched on so many things. There's this idea, stop me if this sounds familiar, but we were looking at how
Sure.
Dignity platform, can't replace your day job. Like even if you were to pocket the maximum amount per hour, which is 49%. So if I'm charging, let's say, £10 an hour for simplicity, I can keep for myself £4.90 per hour as the doer. The higher I can't keep any, obviously. That's 50%. But so that's still, even if I were to charge more than I normally would, say I normally charge £10 an hour, and now I'm charging 15 or even £20 an hour, that still maybe can't replace my day job. But so that's fine, I think. That's okay. I think a Dignity platform is for people who got capacity, they've got time to give, or they can be a hirer if they don't have spare time to give. And that's okay. There's still enough of those people in the world for it to be used and to be valuable. But we were interested in this idea of creating an ambassador role where somehow, and we've got a few ideas how a user can show a real commitment, an understanding of and commitment to the values and philosophy of Dignity platform. And as you say, they've kind of given X amount of hours, fundraised X amount of money, they've got X amount of positive reviews. Then they could be awarded this sort of ambassador sort of privilege where they can perhaps pocket more than 49%. And any hirer who chooses to hire them would know that less money is going to charities and causes. But they would know that actually, this person's really fully committed to this. This isn't just a hobby they do on the side or something, they do for fun or because it's meaningful. This is their actual career now. They would know that by seeing the ambassador symbol on their profile. So that user would need to convince us, Dignity team, I guess, that they're doing all of their work now, or most of their work, through Dignity platform, and that would be part of getting that sort of status, that sort of accreditation, and it would just lift that cap on how much they can pocket for themselves. So that's just the sort of idea we're exploring.
That's great. I love that. I think rewarding users with something like that is a win-win, because it's marketing for Dignity, and it's also, it looks good on a resume or behind a wall. Did I lose you again?
No, I'm still here.
Okay, no, it just switched to a
it's just an
okay.
optional looking at how couch surfing manages references, just in case you're interested.
Sure.
So yeah, because I think it could be quite a similar interface to this in many ways, So hosts could almost be doers, potentially. So I like how it shows my friends at the top. I mean, that's really cool. So if I'm looking for a photographer, first of all, it shows me my friends. Pasco. Hello, mate. Can you hear us?
I can.
Hey, Chris, meet Pasco. The core team.
I just thought I'd pop by. I received the email and I thought, hold on, this is live now. I'm just trying to get my camera to work.
Cool.
Ooh, I think I might have broken it.
So we've got up to about another 20 or so minutes, Chris and I.
Okay.
But yeah, you're in Mexico still, no?
I am, yeah. About to cook some dinner actually with Elleray. Definitely still time off. Yeah, I didn't get the brief on what this meeting was, but I just thought I'd pop in and say hello. Yeah,
cool. Do you want like a sort of 30-second minute summary of what we've been chatting about and stuff?
Please, yeah, do it.
Cool. So as you probably know, Chris is the chap from Midwire, the more experienced of the potential volunteer developers I've been in touch with.
Absolutely.
And so this is our second meeting, and we're just sort of digging a bit deeper into Dignity. Chris came with a couple of quite specific questions so far. We've chatted a little bit about the classic, who would Dignity not allow to fundraise on the platform?
Yep.
And we're currently also just talking a bit about the other one that came up at our launch event, which I don't know if you know about, Chris. I'm trying to remember if we had just had the launch event when I spoke to you last, but we had about 40, 50 people come through the doors, maybe 10 different local community projects represented there, including a sort of umbrella organisation for local charities and community projects, and they in particular have lots of similar sort of questions, identifying potential risks or issues or challenges, which were useful for kind of reflecting on later. We'd probably looked into most of them a little bit, but yeah, so we were chatting a little bit, Pascal, about you know, what happens if I get someone to do some plumbing or something at my house or fix my dog kennel and they end up burning the house down or whatever. So yeah, we were chatting a little bit about optional possibilities of optional insurance, community ratings, and that was a third thing. What was the third thing, Chris?
I think the first thing we talked about was vetting causes. Is there any principles or rules behind vetting causes? And it kind of seemed like maybe not, that, you know, maybe, I don't know if community self-police that and kind of feel like, you know, if somebody has something really that they want to have a, you know, do a cause on, that the community would say, hey, this isn't right, or I don't know. I really didn't hear you say that, but I kind of got that feeling that that's how you wanted to handle it. But
yeah, sure.
I think I mean, Luke, you've always talked about this like open door approach, and I really love that, you know, saying yes before saying no, allowing people to kind of use it for as they wish until that problem arises, and then allow that to kind of form naturally and see how that comes to us as a, you know, a complaint from someone saying, you know, this doesn't feel fair, and then, you know, use the kind of the software that we're thinking about, opening ourselves and other organizations to a conversation, you know, democratically, and say, you know, what do our users think about this? Send out an email, and, you know, and then essentially liquefy the decision making, I think.
Yeah, I think that'd be, I think
okay.
if we can really give our supporters the feeling that they do really have an influence, and if we can more than that show that the influence that they have is more often than not, a positive one that actually brings more insight and great ideas to Dignity, and also makes people more excited about us and want to fundraise for us more and support us more and be part of our story more. You know, all of this feeding into the very attractive kind of opportunity for other causes and charities and community projects to get involved too, as well as users. Do you have any questions or things you wanted to bring, Pascal, or you more want to just kind of observe for now?
Nothing specifically. I do feel very out of touch. I just I followed the link. I actually thought it was a video to a call that you previously had, and then I realized it was still live. I am definitely still in holiday mode, and so don't feel like I can bring much at this point, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, no worries. I think we're quite happy, aren't we, Chris, just carrying on. So you're welcome to stay if you want to, Pascal, and jump in anytime if you want to.
Thank you.
So yeah, I don't know if that topic is old now, Chris, but I just thought if you weren't very familiar with couchsurfing, just kind of while we're on the topic of sort of user interface, user journeys, these are the 7,000 people in Brighton, which has a population of 150,000. People who are happy to have you stay at their place. In fact, actually, we can specifically say definitely accepting guests. So we can limit it. Some of them are maybes. So now we've reduced it to 1,000 people. So 1,000 definitely hosting in Brighton right now. And this is kind of good as well. I really like this. I'd like to steal something like this, the last login time and their response rate as well. Because I think there's a lot of potential points in the user journey where the ball could be dropped. And obviously it only needs to be dropped once, and then people have a negative experience and maybe don't come back ever again. So yeah, you know, like if I book Steve to take some photos next weekend, like does he actually turn up? Like does he actually get the message? You know, if he gets the message, is he definitely going to say yes? So I like the feature of Airbnb that has instant book. I think after people have used Dignity a few times, maybe they'll allow this instant book feature where they go, I'm going to make myself definitely available on Saturday afternoon. And if someone books me, they can just assume that it's guaranteed, whereas other people might like to have more of a back and forth, you know, like on liftshare.com or blablabcar.com, where you go, hey, Chris, are you definitely driving from Brighton to London tomorrow at 9 a.m? And then you go, oh, actually, I'm glad you checked with me because actually I'm going to need to leave a couple of hours later. I need to pick something up. And then I can go, okay, cool, that's fine. And then I book it.
Sure. Makes sense.
So I can click on, see it says here the number of references they have and number of friends as well. But I mean, these filters are really good. I mean, I really quite like the user interface of Couchsurfing. I think they've, I think there's been some ways it's gotten worse over the years and some ways it's gotten better. I think one of the ways it's got better is the user interface on the web platform and the app. And then one of the ways it's got worse, I think, is the community culture. A lot of people have moved over to be welcome, especially the sort of original users of Couchsurfing. This is probably the main sort of competitor, if you like, of Couchsurfing. And
so why did they move?
So you do get, if you're not careful, you do get a lot of requests on Couchsurfing from people who treat you a little bit like a free hotel. They don't necessarily fully understand the vision. They haven't necessarily put time aside to really explore the vision and inspiring kind of purpose behind Couchsurfing. And so they just send you a message that's maybe, oh, I wonder if I've got an example somewhere actually. Declined. Yeah, a lot of them are quite last minute. Yeah, so, you know, they just go, are you available on this date? This is when I'm coming with my girlfriend. And you're like, oh, mate, you know, tell me a bit about yourself. Tell me why you've, you know, asked to stay with me specifically. You know, some people just message 100 people and there's nothing personal about it at all. So often, you know, the better requests are ones that say, hey, I've had a look through your profile. Oh, it's awesome you've been to Vietnam. A little bit of small talk, I suppose. This kind of shows, gives you a little bit of a clue as to what they might be like to actually have in your house.
I'm going to leave you chaps to it.
Okay.
Cool, mate. Nice. And my love to LA.
Good.
When are you back in Mexico?
Thank you, Chris. And yeah, we'll talk and you'll see more of me. In the future, I've realised I've actually broken my webcam with a bit of blue tack.
Oh no!
I've got Black Mirror. I watched Black Mirror. You know, webcam blue tack over it, and then when it's shut, it's crushed it. Oh well.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, I'll speak to you soon, Chris, and I'll speak to you, Luke, on the 6th, and we can do a big catch up, and I can better get to know where you're at with Chris, and I can kind of talk to you better, Chris, about where your engagement will be and how we plan to collaborate with each other. I'm really excited, and grateful that you've got in touch with us.
Excellent. Okay, me too. I look forward to working with you.
Right. Well, hasta luego from Mexico.
Hasta luego.
Good evening. Ciao.
So yeah, Chris, we have up to maybe 10 more minutes or so. What do you want to chat about, if anything else? Do you want to look a little bit sort of moving forward and mock-ups and things?
I don't think I need to do that at this point. I still want to, I probably will go ahead and flesh out my models a little bit and then send that to you and see if that's kind of what you were envisioning. And if you can, like those things that you were telling me about, you know, couch surfing, the things you like the response rate. I mean, if you can even show me screenshots of particular, you know, with maybe little arrows, I like this or whatever, last login days, number of references, things like that you like, I would put that into my model and you know, and then let you look over that.
Okay.
So I plan to work on this model a bit, and if you could probably give me to the end of the week, I can send that to you, and then we can go from there and see kind of, you know, how that fits into your ideas, and am I covering everything, or if I left things out, or then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, great. Okay, that sounds awesome. I can do that. I just want to check you saw this one. This is a link I made just using a very simple tool called Workflowy. It's just a sort of very rough draft sort of example of a site map for a Dignity platform that just sort of shows one way the user interface could be laid out. So the home page being broken into 4 parts.
Cool.
Hire someone to do something, be hired to do something, have a voice in an organization that you're passionate about, and then everything else, including your profile and settings.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's really good. And definitely screenshots are wonderful. Screenshots or wireframes, if you have, like, even just like a doc like this, you know, one with profile. Okay, so when somebody comes and the first thing they see is the app home screen, and there's these options, profile, you know, just kind of a rough draft of things like that would be really helpful.
Yeah, cool. This sort of thing useful, like some sort of ideas like this, just in case they inspire.
Sure. Yeah.
I quite like this one. It's quite old, but I think it's kind of nice. It sort of shows Luke Flegg's profile. I've raised this amount of money for these different projects so far. I think that kind of gamification, that sort of sense of reward is nice. Even though it's software that's recognizing how you've contributed, I think it still has a degree of that reward factor. And I think that's cool. You know, that's why we play computer games. I think they have that sense of progression and it can become addictive and fun.
Yeah, all those kinds of things like that. All these drawings you've done are really great. And so I could take that and probably pretty quickly build, you know, software that graphs whatever the data is behind it, and that's really good.
That'd
be great.
Really exciting, man. That's so exciting. Yeah, I'm so keen to give you what you need and for it to be fun and productive for you. Because
so how do you want? Next question then would be, how do you want to proceed with it? What kind of platform do you want to start with development? So I mean, we could probably do something like Heroku, where, you know, a developer like me would have a discretionary amount of resources on Heroku where I can just upload the code, and you know, you and Pasco and whoever on the team want to go and look at it and play with it, and it's kind of like a staging area.
Okay.
We could do that.
To have an open source repository like SourceForge or GitHub that we can have access to the repository with you?
Yeah, that would be great. I have accounts on both of those and GitLab as well, and I can send those to you. Definitely, source code repository is good, but you're probably, so unless you like and understand how to look at the code and see what's there, you're probably going to want to play with it and see what it does, right? You want to see how it looks in your browser.
Yeah, I'd also love. I've got a
So,
couple of extremely very busy friends working on a whole variety of projects who are very excited by Dignity Platform, but like my friend Alex, you know, who I think would be, he's passionate about open source software and beautifully written code, and you know, people writing software with you know, good intentions for society. I reckon there's a good chance he'll be really interested to probably at some point meet you and have a chat with you if you like, but also certainly to have a look at the code as well and see how you're writing. You know, and maybe you might be interested in some of his projects too. I don't know, but yeah, so it'd be beautiful if we can get it on GitHub or SourceForge and yeah, have it open and people like Alex can, you know, have a look in there and see the magic that you're creating too.
sure.
He's the chap who built
that
the.
sounds good.
I think I give you the link to this one. He came around my house and I just fed him some yummy food, and he made I think it's app.dignityplatform.org. You can't click these links, can you? In Hangouts on there.
Is that the one I've?
Convenient. You have to copy paste them, huh? It's quite annoying.
No, I can click when you throw a link out there. I can click it. It's just
okay.
Up now. Yeah, I think I have been to this interface before.
Yeah.
Which is, it looks really good. So you had someone do that for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, please don't, you know, recreate this necessarily at all. I think there's, yeah, I think there's.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I mean,
one way
if you have an interface guy, that would be great to be able to work with an interface guy who can do that kind of stuff, and that would be really. So probably what I would say one of the next things you want to do before the end of the week is set up your account. If you want it on GitHub, that's great, but you're going to want to be the owner of that repository, because you're going to I've seen it too many times. You know, you let someone else create the repository and they start working on it, build out code, and then they decide they don't like you anymore or whatever. You want to be the owner of that code. So, and then you give rights to me and to whoever to you know, to write, you know, have write access to the repository, whatever. On GitHub, it's a collaborator. On Bitbucket, it's I can't remember. But anyway, whatever. So if you create that account and then give me access to it, and my account on all of them are Midwire. So GitHub, my account's Midwire, so you can just add Midwire.
Okay.
And then I can actually work on stuff. But
yeah, awesome. Oh man, very exciting times.
And you said, I can't remember which, or did you use Trello? What platform do you use for issue management? I can't remember. We talked about it, but I can't remember.
So we've got our sort of ideas, our creative brainstorming and ideas space. That's not tasks. I think you're talking more about actionable tasks and time logging. We use it for, which is Rike.
Yeah, excellent. So if you could send me a link to that, and
yeah, so I'll
whatever account info.
Yeah, that's this one. So again, this is another thing that we make open and public to anyone. So I'll give you the login for this. I mean, yeah, if you want to actually, I'll just try and describe this in just less than a minute, how this is kind of laid out. There's lots of tasks in here. I mean, every single thing every hour of time that any of us have ever spent is viewable in here. Like we really do strictly keep to this. So if you want to look at like what we've done in the last month, this is Pasco in the last month. This is Joe in the last month. We really want to be radically open and transparent. So this is me in the last month. So you can see in the last month I've spent 53 54 hours of time, so it's very easy to also pay people through this as well. You know, if we go, okay, that's London living wage, you know, that's how we would work out what to pay people. When we have some funding in one day, Tenzin, Matt, Adam, these are extended team people.
Okay.
And you can just click any of these tasks to open them up and see more detail in here. So I'll share this with you and you're welcome to have a look through. This is all the people we invited to our launch event. Yeah, you're very welcome.
Okay, and you want me to add, I mean, if there's things I do, you want me to add time-wise in there, and then you'll have tasks. Eventually we'll break down tasks on there, right? So.
Yeah, I don't want to add sort of bureaucracy or processes if they sort of slow you down or frustrate you, but I think I'll let you decide. I think what's most fun for you. I think certainly it would be awesome to, because we use this for a number of reasons, right? One is if we get funding and we want to spend a portion of that paying ourselves just living wage. You know, this is a way to be radically transparent and open about, you know, where exactly is that money going. But also it's because we're autonomous, you know, we're a self-organizing group, so I'm not the boss. It's a fantastic way to just see, you know, this is what's been happening in the last week. So I can just, you know, Pasco's in Mexico, he can catch up and just see, oh, this is all that's happened in the last week. Cool, I'm up to date.
Nice.
And then finally, it's also great, the third purpose of this is storytelling. So we can actually do a screen capture. I mean, it's not ideal and it's not very interactive, I guess, but we can at least kind of go every month, you know, just a 30-second video. For anyone who's geeky enough to care, here's what we've been doing as a team the last month, you know, and anyone who might be interested in a couple of things can see. And if they want to do something similar to Dignity Platform, they can learn and go, oh, okay, so you did a launch event. Oh, God, it took a long time to organize that. Again, you know, they can see all the comments and details as well. So there's a storytelling aspect to it as well. So, you know, if you feel up to it, then great, that would be awesome. We can explore in there if you feel like it. But if it feels like just another sort of hurdle and boring, then I certainly don't want to make you do it.
Okay. Great. Well, I think it's been a good meeting, and we kind of have an idea of where to go next. And I'll work on my model, and I plan to get back to you Friday. If not Friday, I'll send you the model on Saturday. Just the
yeah, lovely. And I'll create that GitHub account and give you some sort of stimulus that's you can just use at your discretion. That's kind of, I like this, kind of annotated screenshots and some mock-ups.
Okay. Sounds great. Well, it's been a pleasure, my friend, and I look forward to making some progress with you.
Awesome, man. Take care. Thank you so much for your time.
You too.
Bye-bye. Take care. Bye. Man. Where did he come from?